Well, good morning, guys. My intro didn't start. That's kind of, well, there we go. Just slow today. Hey, good Monday morning, folks. Hope you are all doing fantastic. Man, I wanted to just jump right into it today. I've got a refrigerator getting delivered to me this morning. It literally could come anytime. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to go live today. So let's just get right into it. The first thing that I want to do is I want to invite all of you that don't normally join us on the Tuesday Trader live streams to come check us out tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Varnell trading system. For those of you that have been around, I just wanted to show you what's going on with these trades that we placed last week. You can see here we got about $100 into this Atom trade. The ROI right now is at 300%. So we're up, we've 3x'd our money, and we've got a $300 profit. We also put $100, roughly a little over $100 into HBAR. That is up 267%, also a $300 bill. And then we've had a dot trade and a polygon trade in now for a few weeks. And you can see here, the polka dot trade, we're up $100 on a $30 trade. And on the polygon trade, we're up $81 on an $18 or a $19 trade here, 442% on these trades. So get back into in the habit of coming and checking out these Tuesday Trader live streams. I've got a couple more trades that I'm looking forward to putting into place. I actually went here. This is BYDFi. I'm doing most of my trading on WEEX these days, but I also went in on BYDFi because I had a few dollars, and I placed a little bit of a long on Bitcoin here, which is a couple of dollars underwater, but I still like my odds here on this. And then I did another trade on HBAR because HBAR at roughly 20 cents, a little over 20 cents, was still, in my opinion, a great place to be putting a trade in for HBAR. And as you can see here, I'm already up $47, almost 48% on a trade that I just placed last night. So folks, with the market going up, things getting better, we are in a position to have a massive trading, upswing. And so I don't want to talk about that too much. I also do want to mention, though, for those of you, if you're not on our Wednesday microcap gem live streams, yeah, these are a little bit of a commercial for my other videos. But folks, these microcap gem live streams on Wednesday are phenomenal. And I just want to show you one token here. We talked about Patriot not too long ago. My friend Kevin Blake Weldon, who is one of the advisors on my new project, was super excited about this thing. And look at this thing. The last 14 days, it's up 120%. 7 days, 74%. Last 24 hours, 17%. This thing, if you look at the weekly here, it was all the way down at 0.0005 was the all-time low of it. And then the 7-day range was all the way up at 0.001285. It's at 0.001108. This is another project that is really high up on our radar here. And I just wanted to show you that if you're on our Wednesday live stream and you actually take action, pull the trigger, and do some trading, do some spot buying, you have potential right now to be doing some extremely big numbers within the trading group and in the microcap gems. Other than that, guys, I just wanted to basically, today's going to be a little bit of a lighthearted day. Like I say, it's going to be a little bit quicker than normal. And, hope that you all had a fantastic weekend. Hey, come on, you guys. Hope you guys had a amazing weekend. Come here, actually, for a second. I know you guys don't care, but I want to show you anyways. Come here. Ruger, come here, buddy. Ruger, hey, come here. Come here. Dude, look how huge this guy has gotten. This is Ruger. Not that long ago, I could hold him in my arms and keep him under the screen. I could keep him under the screen because he was just a little tiny guy. He is growing so fast. He's going to be a monster. Yeah, this is going to be my monster right here. Yeah, he's a beautiful, beautiful dog. Wonderful personality. But yeah, man, those puppies are growing extremely fast. I couldn't hold them both in my arms right now to try to keep them in check on the stream, even if I wanted to. So anyways, how was your guys' weekend? I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. Like, you know, life is too short to go through it not having some fun, you know. So my wife and I, man, between the animals, between, you know, all of the work that we're doing, all of this stress and anxiety that getting this new, will you guys go fight somewhere else, please? Like, seriously, you got the whole house to fight in, and you want to be right next to me. Are you kidding me? Holy smokes. I swear, guys, I'm working on having a full-time assistant. Supposed to be my son, but he went and got another job on me. But that's okay. Back in the day when he did that, it was I couldn't afford to pay him what he was worth. But hopefully soon I have him back here with me full time. But yeah, I gotta have somebody here take care of these dogs. The trouble with trying to lock them up is they go crazy. They make so much noise when you lock them up that it would be almost worse than letting them go free. But anyways, back to the weekend. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. And I just wanted to say, you know, sometimes even when you're in the heart of the battle, like right now, I'm in the middle of the battle, like really hardcore battle. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's like a bad battle. It's not like a war against, you know, the bad guys or something. It's just a battle of, we're right on the edge of having everything that we have worked so hard for, but that's when it seems like the battle really comes at you the hardest. You know, this project, you know, getting this thing launched on time and making sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, that everything that we are working on is moving along smoothly. You know, it's also important. So I'm working harder than I've worked in my whole life, but it's okay. Like I get up early in the morning and I'm working sometimes until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, but it's also one of the funnest times. And so, but I want to give you guys permission to enjoy some life, have some fun, relax. You know, Saturday and Sunday, it's not the end of the world if you don't take a look at your portfolio. In fact, I highly recommend not looking at your portfolio every single day. Just try to take one day where you just don't care what happens in the markets. You don't care what happens to your portfolio. Now, if you're trading and you're doing leverage trades, you got to keep a little bit of an eye on things. But like if you literally have your spot bags bought and you're excited for whenever it happens, whether it's next month or next week or even next year, for the altcoin season and for Bitcoin to run up into, you know, the $150,000 to $200,000 range, it's okay to take a little bit of a breather and just relax, have some fun. You know, take your spouse and your kids and just enjoy some life. So my wife and I had some business back. We had a doctor's appointment back in Las Vegas. So we took off and went back to Las Vegas Thursday night, did a little staycation, stayed in Las Vegas Thursday night, Friday night, and then we kind of came up with some last minute Mother's Day plans. And so we ended up staying in Vegas till Sunday so that we could celebrate Mother's Day. And that's another thing that I want to do. We're a day late here, but for all of you moms on the channel, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is one of my favoriteest days because I get to celebrate my wife. And now I get to celebrate my daughter who had our grandchild the day after Christmas. My sister-in-law had a baby back in 2024 in July. So her first baby, 10 months old, but this was her first Mother's Day. Then of course I have my amazing mother-in-law, who unfortunately we lost the the man of the family. We lost my father-in-law. She lost her husband just earlier this year. So it was the first Mother's Day without him around, and we just all got together and really had a really special day together. And I hope all of you moms out there had amazing Mother's Days. I think that being a mom is probably one of, if not the most important jobs in the world. In fact, it probably just is the most important job in the world. And a lot of times it's underappreciated. I see my wife and what she has to do to hold this household together. And man, I don't apologize for it, but I'm thankful that I wasn't born a woman. Man, like, I'm glad I'm a man, because I don't think I could handle being a woman. I swear to goodness, man, I'm too big of a wussy. Like, my wife is sick and she's still cooking and cleaning and doing everything. Man, I get a little bit of a sniffles and I'm laying in bed for 3 days getting, catered on and stuff. But I just really wanted to make sure that all of you ladies out there that are moms, want to wish you a very, very happy Mother's Day. So if you don't ever take any time to enjoy your life, then what's the point of doing all of the work that you're doing? Because I think the moral of the story, I wasn't exactly sure what my point was going to be today, but I think what really just hit me like a ton of bricks in talking about all of this is that accumulation of stuff is not the goal. It's not the reason that we exist here on this planet. It's not for the accumulation of stuff. Yeah, it's nice to have nice things. And I want you guys to have the house of your dreams. I want you to have the cars of your dreams. I want you to have, the jet. If your dream is to own a jet, if your dream is to own an island, I want you to have all those things. But I'm here to tell you that the accumulation of all those things is not what life is all about. What life is all about is days like yesterday. If you got to actually go spend the day with your mom and let her know how much you love and appreciate her, and created memories and made her, happy and helped her to have a great day, that is what life is all about. I lost my mom about I guess it's closing in on 6 years ago now. So I got a little emotional yesterday because I was sad that I couldn't actually give my mom a big hug and wish her, a happy Mother's Day. Although I know that, hopefully when I was in church and I was looking up, that I believe that she was able to look down on me from heaven. I know maybe that's something that's a little weird. You guys believe what you want to believe. I'll believe what I want to believe. To me, it makes me feel better to think that if I want, that my mom and my dad can, if I invite them, I don't think that people up in heaven can just look down and see everything we're doing all the time. That would be weird. But I really do feel like if I look up at heaven and say, hey, Mom, how you doing? I love you. I miss you. I believe that in moments like that, my mom and my dad, can see me. Once again, it doesn't really matter whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. Just the fact that I believe it's true makes me feel better and allows me to have a moment or two, with my mom or dad every once in a while. And so I was watching a YouTube channel, a guy that creates shorts not too long ago, and he was basically interviewing older people, probably mostly in their 70s and 80s. And one of the questions that he asked every single one of them during his interview was, is there anything that you regret? Or if you could go back and talk to your 20-year-old self, is there anything that you would tell them? And every single one of them, like not one person didn't say this in the 10 or 15 that I watched. I kind of got hooked. I got hooked on it. I started watching them. I watched like 10 or 15 of them in a row. Every single older person that was in their 70s and 80s said that they would tell their 20-year-old self to quit chasing the stuff, and that it's not the stuff, it's the memories, it's the times with your loved ones. all of them wished that they had spent more time with the people that were important to them. Like, you're never going to care about making more money, but you might very well regret missing your son's football game, and so on and so forth. And every single one of them basically said, hey, I spent way too much of my younger years trying to accumulate money, trying to accumulate wealth. And I wish I would have spent more time along the journey to enjoy life. And I guess, part of what I'm trying to say is, smell the roses along the way. I'm only 51 years old, but I feel like I've experienced more life than most people do in a lifetime. And it's because I was always willing to take chunks of time and go spend them doing the things that I loved. So a lot of people work that 40-40-40 plan. They work from the time they're 18, 19, 20 till the time they're 60, 65 years old, and they delay all the gratification. They delay all of the fun. They delay all of the stuff. And then now they're 70 years old and they go out and buy the Corvette convertible, and they start trying to take some vacations. But the trouble is, at 70 years old, your body doesn't cooperate with you like it does in your 30s and your 40s. And, even at 50, I still am in pretty good shape to be able to do a lot of things in life. But man, by the time you hit 70, being on a plane for 18 hours to Dubai is no fun. And there's a lot of people that get older and they now finally have the time and the freedom to go travel and see the world and do things, but they don't have the energy. They don't have the vibrancy. They don't have the vitality anymore. So what I'm trying to tell you, it's important to plan these things out. What are you doing this summer? Do you have a special vacation planned for this summer? Or are you just going to the same old camping spot that you went to for the last 10 years? You going on the same old vacation that you've gone on for the last 10 years? You got your spot. Or are you going to, the Bahamas? Are you going to Bali? Are you going to the Caribbean? You've never been on a cruise and you're taking a 2-week cruise to Alaska? What are you doing in the next 3 or 4 months that you've never done before? Because that's kind of the spice of life. And I want to go back. It kind of flew out of my head and now it's back. But most of these people, they talked about how their favorite things in life, the most important things in their life, are the people. And so often they spent their younger years trying to accumulate the stuff, and then they thought that they would get around to spending time with the people. But I want to give you guys an illustration that is kind of scary. Let's just say that your parents are still alive, but let's say that you live, several hours or even, thousands of miles away from them for some reason. And let's say that you literally see your parents in person twice a year, which, for some people, like if you live in Las Vegas and your parents live in Florida, there's some people that might not even see their parents twice a year in those circumstances. But let's just say that you see your parents twice a year. Let's say that you've got siblings, you've got brothers and sisters that you love dearly and that you're rooting for in life, but you only get together once every few years. Well, I want you to do some math. So I'm 51, and let's just say my parents were still alive. They're both unfortunately not. But if I was going to see my dad, say, twice a year, and he was going to be alive for, say, he's 75, and he was going to be alive for 5 more years. Well, 5 times 2 is only 10 times. Would you take the time that you're spending with your parents more seriously if you thought you only had 10 more times? Like, when you break it down and you do the math and you figure out how many times a year you see the people that are the most important to you, and then you multiply out how many years you think they have left to live, and there's no guarantees in life. I have a friend, a gentleman, a fellow YouTuber whose dad just passed away on Easter, very unexpectedly at 67 years old. So if he was doing the math and he's like, well, the average males live into 77. By the time my dad's 77, with medical advancements, there's a great chance that my dad's going to live till he's 80 or 85. And he's doing that math and thinking, well, I still got, quite a bit of time to spend with my dad. You just never know. But even in that example, let's say that you got 20 years. Let's say that your parents are going to be alive for 20 years, but you only see them twice a year. That's only 40 times. That's not very much. I don't know about you, but like my dad and I talked on the phone every single day. But for the last 7 or 8 years of his life, man, we got together probably 4 or 5 times a year for a few days at a time. But so like out of 365 days of a year, I was probably spending maybe 20 of them with my dad. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have spent a lot more time living, being closer to my dad. I had an opportunity about 10 years ago. I came this close to moving into the same area that my dad lived in. And literally, this was back before crypto. I still had a poker job in Vegas. My wife had a poker job in Vegas. We literally both got hired. We went out and got hired at casinos in Las Vegas in the Palm Desert area. And we literally were ready to move. And then I don't remember what stopped us. And I mean, obviously it was for a reason, but my point is, if I would have been thinking a little bit more along the lines that I'm thinking now with this example, if I would have realized that I only had, 10 years with my dad, and that on average, I was only seeing him 3-4 times a year, and I only going to get to spend time with him 30, 40 more times in his life, I would have said, heck no, man, that's not acceptable. I want to see my dad more than that. And so I'm just here to tell you, when you get to be 70, 80, 90 years old, you're not going to care about the money. Yeah, you're going to want to have some security. You're going to want to have some life. It's going to have been nice. It's weird. I come on one Monday and I'm talking all about financial freedom and creating wealth and how there's never enough, because there's never enough. I believe that our purpose on this earth is to become the best version of ourselves. So no matter how good a shape you are in right now, next year you should be in better shape. I don't care if you're 30 years old and you're totally ripped and you're cut and life is good. Your goal should not be to be the same person next year as you are today at 30. You should be a better version of yourself at 31. You should have better finances at 31 than you had at 30. I should have better finances at 52 than I had at 51 and at 53 and at 73 and 74. So it's important to continue to strive to be the best versions of ourselves and to max out our lives. But at the same time, guys, you can do that and max out your relationships and max out the quality of the time that you spend being present. I have a tough time being present. I just got another cell phone, and part of the reason I have two right now is because I haven't switched as much as stuff from one over to the other as I need to. So my newest cell phone, doesn't have some things on it that are important, but at the same time, it's an example of like, when I go out to dinner with my wife, I catch myself opening my phone and looking at see if there's notifications, see if anybody's messaged me on Telegram, see if anybody's DM'd me, just regular, text messages, Facebook Messenger. Like I got Telegram, I got Discord, I got Facebook Messenger, I got my regular text messages, I got the YouTube comments. Like I've got a bunch of stuff. And a lot of times my wife will be like, hey, are we spending time together, or are we just like both going to be on our phones and just have a meal across the table from each other, but not ever even look each other in the eyes and like, and spend time together? And so I'm giving you guys this, this information because, because my wife's giving it to me. And some of us, maybe our spouses aren't upfront with us enough, but I just about guarantee you that every one of our spouses wishes we were on the phone less when we were with them. They wish we were checking our portfolio less when we were with them. They wish that we were present and that we were really excited about what was going on in their life instead of being wrapped up in all of the things that we're worried about and what's going on in our life. And so, the last thing I'm going to talk about real quick is mending relationships. I don't think that God put us here on this earth to have these breaks in our relationships. And I'm talking from personal experience, guys. I had a period of time, even though I was blessed with an incredible mom, I love her to death. We didn't see eye to eye on everything. And we literally had I think it was a roughly somewhere around about a 6 year, maybe a 6 or 7 year period of time where my mom and I didn't talk. And it was my fault. It was 100% on me. And I've regretted that, ever since, my whole life, ever since we reconciled. Luckily we reconciled when I was, later 20s, and we had, we got to spend time together all the way until she passed away when I was like 45. So we got some really good time. And then she moved to Las Vegas, and like the last 8 years of her life, she literally lived very close to me, and we spent a lot of time together. But, even right now, I'm talking to myself. I've got a sister that, you're not supposed to have favorites, but man, I got a sister that is, one of my favorite sister, and we haven't spoken now in almost 2 years. And in some ways, I'm trying to protect myself because I love her dearly, and I know that she's not going to hear this. But if she was hearing this, I love her with all of my heart. But unfortunately, she is an alcoholic, and she has a incredibly bad drinking problem. She's drinking herself to death, and she gets nasty. She does. She just gets absolutely nasty when she's been drinking. And the last few times that we talked, the insults and the hurt that she tried to inflict on me, I had to push her away. But at the same time, I know that God is up in heaven grieving our relationship, and that he would like me to make it better. And maybe after this video, maybe this video is a wake-up call for me. My sister is older than me. She's probably I think she's 6 years older than me. So she's going to be 58 this year. If she continues to drink like she is, I don't think that she's going to live, more than another 4 or 5 years. And maybe I guys got to step up and, not allow her to hurt my feelings and make me feel the way that she tries to make me feel, be the bigger man, and just love on her. But, I miss her. A couple of years gone by without ever talking to her. And, so if you've got relationships in your life where people have wronged you, and I'm not telling you, you got to be the decision maker here. You got to decide if what I'm saying is touching your heart, and if you want to reach out, and if you want to try to move forward. I'm not telling you to try to go back and get in touch with people that have hurt you, if people were physically abusive to you. I'm not trying to tell you to go relive past trauma in your life. But if you've got family, if you've got moms and dads and brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, cousins, people that you grew up and at one point in time absolutely had amazing relationships, and you guys loved each other dearly, and then something petty, they like Trump and you don't, or you like Trump and they don't, or whatever, they're a Democrat, you're a Republican, maybe they love the 40-40-40 plan, and you're on board with wanting to create freedom. And every time you get together, there's this friction, and maybe they put you down. I hate dream stealers. So I push myself away from dream stealers too. But at the same time, guys, if it's something petty, if it's something, that that, yeah, maybe you had a right to be upset about, and they were 100% in the wrong, but it's something forgivable. It's something that you should be able to look past at this point. And especially if it's just pride and ego, guys, so often pride and ego ruins relationships that should be tremendously special in our lives. And so I'm just here after Mother's Day. I know that there's some people watching this that maybe haven't talked to their mom. I know, another example, my brother and my dad, they had their falling outs. And I'll never forget, my brother was supposed to show up for Christmas, and he didn't. He didn't call. He didn't show up. He just didn't come. Didn't do anything for Christmas one day, and it crushed my dad. It was really painful, and I watched him, go through that. Don't be petty. They got back together several years later and made amends, but it was a situation in a way where, like they never had the relationship that they should have had, and it was over some petty stuff. Like some of the stuff that they fought over and some of the things that came between them was crazy. Once again, if you grew up in an abusive household where, somebody, beat you, or, you went through trauma and your parents just are, were horrible people, then I'm not trying to tell you to go reach back out to them and open up those old wounds. Like I have a family member that had a really, really horrible father. And, at around 8, 9 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old, the father was gone out of their life. And this young man reached back out to that father when he was in his 20s. And his dad was just as awful then as he was when he was a little kid, and basically told him, don't ever call me again. I forgot about you a long time ago. So I'm not here to tell you to go reopen wounds like that. That was crushing. This young man, that hurt. He's had a lot of challenges in his adult life. He's fought with drugs, and he's fought with alcohol, and he's fought and he's fought and he's fought. And it's all because, a lot of it is because of that awful, horrible, worthless man that unfortunately was his father. So if you got a mom or a dad that's like that, I'm not telling you to go try to get in touch with them. But if you just got a mom or a dad that you love very much, but you guys have been fighting, you got a favorite brother or sister like I do, and you guys just haven't been getting along, I'm here to highly, highly recommend that you find a place in your heart where you can forgive them and reach out to them and just say, hey, I love you. I don't agree with your life. I don't agree with your lifestyle. It kills me that you can't overcome this alcohol addiction, and it's it's very, it kills me that you're drinking yourself to death, but I love you. I love you, and I would like to have at least a little bit of a relationship. Until you quit drinking, we can't be close. We can't spend a lot of time together, but at some point in time, I would love to be able to maybe, share a holiday with you, or at least hop on the phone every once in a while and set your boundaries, set your parameters, and so on and so forth. It's going to be different for each one of you. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. I am not, a doctor. All of this stuff is just coming straight from my heart. So if any of it you disagree with, or if you are a doctor, a psychologist, and I'm being an idiot, please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I just love you guys. And, the reason that this channel exists is to create financial freedom, but it's also, we want to have a good life. And this Monday mindset is all about having the best life that we can have. And something just hit me today saying, man, if we don't have our relationships in order, if the people that we're supposed to love the most and want to spend time with on this planet are people that right now we're not feeling the love for, and we're not spending time with them, then what kind of life are we living? And so if there's anybody out there that you are taught, that your heart is racing, you're breathing heavy, and you're thinking, man, this Brad, he's pissing me off today, But, you know, I think he's right. I'm supposed to call my dad. I haven't talked to him in 5 years, but I'm supposed to call him. If any of you are having those kind of thoughts, man, follow through, take action. Remember a couple of weeks ago, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click off of this video right now. Don't stick around till the end. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go make the phone call right now. And I would love it, man. Something in my heart tells me that somebody here watching this needs to go do this. There's at least one of you that are watching this that needs to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and just go call that person right now. And if you do, I would love to hear about this next week. You know, come on and you know, let me know ahead of time. I'll bring you onto the channel if you've got a testimonial. If you reach out to somebody today or tomorrow and you reconcile a relationship and you want to come onto the channel and talk about it next Monday, I would love to have you on here. Or you can just put a message in the chat. But with that, folks, I love you all very much. I still ended up going for 41 minutes. And I love each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed today's time together, even though it was a little bit deep. Tomorrow on the Trader Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're going to be more upbeat. I got great news for you guys. I have let the cat out of the bag on my new project. There's a handful of people, some OGs in the YouTube space here that know what's going on. And I'm going to be in a position to finally let the cat out of the bag either tomorrow or Wednesday, man. So tomorrow or Wednesday, the details of the cryptocurrency project, the token that we are launching, are going to start becoming public. You're going to be able to start joining and following our Twitter, getting into the Telegram group. And so I'm super excited for that. So with that, folks, I hope you all have just an absolutely amazing, incredible rest of your day. I'm going to go get ready to get a new refrigerator. I love you all. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.